Yo, Elliot! Yo YouTube, it's Elliot Hulse back with Yo Elliot, and I've got a question here from our buddy that I'm going to read, and I'm going to offer him some insights that I've gathered. So our friend's name is Jay. He's 26 years old. He was born in India. He says, I've done my MBA in 2003. Well, good for you, man. And after that, I wanted to start my own business, but for some reason, I didn't start. I'm also a certified personal trainer and worked as a fitness trainer for a few years. Cool. Now, I always wanted to come to the United States and live here for some years. So education was a good option for me, right? So he's gonna come here and get educated. I discussed with my family and they happily agreed. On the 11th of August 2015, I landed in Houston, Texas and started my master's in information technology from the University of Houston, Clear Lake. So you've already got a master's in business, my man, right? And you didn't take action in business for whatever reason. But now you're gonna come to the States, land of opportunity, and you're in Texas and you're studying information technology. He says, basically I belong to a management stream and the course was totally based off software coding, right? So he figured that's a good thing to do. I felt it was a big mistake coming to this course, he says. I got low grades for 3 consecutive semesters, and finally the university told me to go back to my country and come back after a year, academic suspension, he says. So I discussed with a few friends and family members and they suggested not to go back and transfer to another university. I did that, so now I moved to Virginia and I'm continuing my master's. He goes on and says, Elliot, sometimes I feel that I'm in depression. I feel very guilty and anxious that I've wasted the last 2 years of my life and around $40,000 of my parents' hard-earned money. Again, I took admission, so I feel like I heavily disappointed my parents. I can't even gather the courage to talk to them properly these days. So everything what I'm trying to do seems to be turning bad. It's like I'm in a really big mess and I'm trying hard to cope with it. I completely stopped working out, stopped eating properly, appetite is gone. Please, Elliot, suggest something. How can I end this situation and live a steady life? I would highly appreciate any suggestions. Regards, Jay. Cool. Okay, good. Jay, there's a lot of places that I'd like to go with this, but before I begin with some bullet points that I've written out for you to support you with this challenge, the first thing I'm gonna say is that nothing that you do in life is ever a waste of time. I know you're concerned about the resources, the money that was spent. Yeah, you have a master's already, and then you're spending money on another master's. You didn't do anything with the first one, and now you're having anxiety because once again, you're off your path. You're studying something that you really have no intention of moving forward with. I would say that your master's in business education probably made more sense, and you probably do want to start your own business. I see that you are a personal trainer, so it seems like you were called on your path, and maybe it didn't unfold the way you thought it should, but then, so you were sparked and you decided, well, the land of opportunity, right? Go to America. And I get it. Coming to America is a big fucking deal. And a lot of us who are Americans don't realize that. I'm first generation American, so I am blessed to have the experiences and stories of my parents, who, if they had not come to America in the 1970s, well, those of you who watched my last video, I may have been brought up in Moscow, Belize, right? Where there's poverty and there's challenge and it's not America. And so it makes perfect sense for my parents during the 70s to have wanted to come here and start a new life, start a new family for us, for me and my 4 brothers and sisters. And I gotta say, I'm blessed. God bless America. Thank you. You know, I love America for that. It's been wonderful. You know, nothing's perfect. But also today it's still kind of the same way, and I know you're in India and coming here is a big deal, so you figure why not go to the land of opportunity, and hey, I can do it by riding on this student visa. Once again, I get it. So you're gonna go to school and there's a reason for you to be here, and so you get the student visa, so on and so forth. Once again, I understand my mother came to America on a student visa, and the difference was that she was on her path and she was studying something that she ended up doing for over 30 years, raising our family. So the next thing I'd like to just sort of shed light on before I continue and then offer you some support, right? Because we got to shed light on what's really going on before we can really deal with it, right? We got to expose what's up. Is that going to school is a great idea. Going to school is okay. Especially going to school if what it is that you're studying, it has something to do with the path that you're on in life. The only way I see school being of value, especially if you're going to be going into great debt or putting your parents into great debt for school, for college, is if you are studying something along your path, like I said. Otherwise, you're going there for entertainment. A lot of Americans do that. They're going to college for entertainment because that's what their friends do and that's what everybody else does. And that's because, along with that is the narrative, the old narrative that we used to live by, that was you needed a college education if you wanted to be somebody in the economic world. We all know that that is not true. We all know that that is definitely not true today. But there are some professions that require that you get professional education, and it is good that you do that. Granted that you're on your path. You're not going there to fraternize, right? We have fraternities, fraternize, and generally waste another 4 years of your life instead of actually digging deep and shedding light on what your purpose is here, what your inspired path, I like to say, is here. So there's a little bit of my stance on school. You being from India, coming here, I get it. You use it to ride the wave into America. You Americans watching here, or those of you in North America, or those of us in countries where what I just said made sense, going into debt, especially these government subsidized loans, which mean they follow you to your grave, not a good idea unless you know what your path is. Or if mommy and daddy are paying for it. And that's a totally different story. That's between you and your parents. When there is debt involved and a bank is involved and secured debt is involved, you're now trading your soul in a lot of ways, right? Because as soon as you start making any money, they get right on you. Sally Mae starts sucking their dollars right back out, right? So you ain't going nowhere. Okay, good. So now that we're clear on that, what is required from you, my friend? What I invite you to do, number one, first and foremost, just to clear up the depression, to clear up the anxiety, to clear up the sad feelings you're carrying because you're lying to mom and dad, the guilt that's associated with that, I would say that it would be of great value to you for your own personal development and for your relationship with your parents to nut up and just explain to them what's happened here. Mom and dad, we've been in India. I wanted to come to America because it's a land of opportunity. I originally thought I wanted to be in business. Maybe being in business in India isn't such a great idea, right? You wanted to be in fitness business. I don't know. But I'm kind of going back to what your original spark was. Maybe it was a bad idea to leave business and go into computer programming, whatever it is that you're doing. But I wanted to come to America, and I wanted to have this experience. And I will tell you, Jay, the experience was 100% worth it. Thus far, even though you've been kind of depressed, look, you're getting a video from Yo Elliott, right? Oh, lucky you. Come to America, and you get a video from Elliott. So you're on your path. You will be okay. There's nothing been wasted. Nothing has been wasted. Like I say, successful people don't make the right decisions, they make their decisions right. And you have an opportunity right now to make things right inside and out. Number one, working on the inside, get true with yourself. And number two, get true with your parents. So when you say you're depressed, you've got to understand that depression is the opposite of expression. I've said this before. I've said this in many of my crazy videos. So what you're literally doing is stuffing down and depressing something that wants to come up and rise out. I wouldn't be surprised if you had like jaw, ear, or neck pain, fifth chakra, having to do with expressing yourself, speaking your truth. So yeah, you're depressing yourself. Stop it. Speak up, speak your truth. Speak the truth about what's going on right now, and that's it. Now, right, once you get that off your chest, now it's time to turn the flashlight in and discover what your truth is. You're here now, and I don't know if you have another semester left to go. I don't know how your student visa is. I don't know how much money you have, but one thing I do know is you've got some time. And with that time, I would invite you to connect deeply with your truth. Now, you're probably wanting all kinds of techniques or what to do about how to make that happen. I will share this with you. It requires your stillness. It will require that mental chatter ceases. It will require that you are silent enough to hear the still small voice within you guiding you towards what your truth is. Here's a hint. Oftentimes what your truth is the very thing that you feel the most heebie-jeebies about, the most nervous about. That thing where you say, oh no, I couldn't, or other people do that to you. It's there. I know it's there. You know it's there. You wouldn't have come here to be on a path if there wasn't an inspired path for you, but you got to connect with it, my man. Otherwise, from here on out, you're 26 years old, you'll have another 10 years of scanting about, figuring out what to do with yourself, rather than planting your roots or getting firm on your path. So that's it, man. You're here, you're in America. Hey, you know what Americans like? Tax-paying citizens. Go do something where you're generating revenue, producing revenue. Donald Trump will love you. Done.